Grace and peace to all you guys out here. It's a sunny afternoon. It's a blessed afternoon. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pains we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. I pray, guys, that and you guys have a blessed day today. And I pray that you let God direct your day today. We're going to talk some boxing, but in between, I'm going to continue this song. We're going to look at boxingscene.com, leave the comments in the comment section. I'm sorry, in the chat section. And this is a stream, so you can chat away about boxing. Invite other people to come see boxing and talk about it. We're going to break down some things. As you can see here, the first thing is Demetrius Andrade. He started calling out Canelo because Canelo was talking about a fight with Floyd Mayweather. And this was on boxingscene.com. Let's see if I can get to there real quick. So here it is on boxingscene.com right here. And this is not the one. Hold on a second. Demetrius Andrade had this to say. This article was done by Lem Satterfield from boxingscene.com. This is what Demetrius Andrade had to say. Now, first of all, Canelo has a plethora of people to fight at 160 who are really worth the while to fight with. And of this plethora of people, most of them are using the streaming service that Canelo actually uses too, which is DAZN. And so what's beautiful about this is he signed a $360 million fight deal with DAZN. And so he's currently going to be facing Rocky Fielding in December. Rocky Fielding being the WBA champ that recently won the WBA belt. But the regular belt, not the real belt, is by Callum Smith. But what's really interesting is that you're talking about in this division, he's got Triple G that he can face. Demetrius Andrade, who is the, I believe he's the WBO champion, isn't he? I think he's the WBO champion. And then we have also Rob Brandt, who is the WBA regular champion. All right. The actual WBA champion is Canelo. And then you have Jamal Charlo, who is the WBC interim champion, which again, Canelo also holds the WBC title. Not to mention, we have the IBF champion in Daniel Jacobs. So, I mean, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, not to mention Billy Joe Saunders in there, 6 really talented boxers that Canelo could face when he comes down at middleweight. And that is just fantastic. I mean, Canelo has a pick up the pick. And the nice thing about it is a lot of these boxers want to face Canelo. They want to fight him. So he has no problem getting fights. He can pick whoever he wants to pick. And here's what Boo Boo had to say. So count left-handed 2 divisional title winner Boo Boo Andrade among those disappointed in Alvarez's already calling out 41-year-old Floyd Mayweather Jr., who weighed in at 150.5 in September 2003 when Mayweather had a majority decision dethroning of Canelo as WBA WBC 154-pound champion in his lone defeat. This is what Andrade had to say. Calling out Mayweather is probably not going to happen. People want to see Demetrius Andrade or Triple G fight Canelo right now, said Andrade. Obviously, he left out Danny Jacobs, which is interesting. A 30-year-old who has signed with DAZN and who has been approved for voluntary defense in January, according according with WBO rules and President Paco Valcarcel. So basically, he's the WBO champion. That is Demetrius Andrade. The only problem Demetrius Andrade pretty much has is Canelo does not care about the WBO. Neither does really Floyd Mayweather, because the WBO as an organization is not as impressive as the WBC, WBA, or even the IBF. And so the WBO is still kind of young, just like the IBO. And so what's happening there is Andrade has positioned himself. He's always been a WBO champion, but really, truly, nobody really cares about the WBO. So he's still kind of hanging out there as an outlier. But he's making some noise. This is what he had to say. So why doesn't Canelo come back down and fight people at the 160-pound division? Those are the fights that the fans want to see being made. I know that Canelo and his team are where they are because they're smart business guys, but you can't claim you're the best when you don't fight the best, which is true. At this point, no one wants to see you against Floyd Mayweather. There's no point to it. I don't know about nobody wanting to see him face Floyd Mayweather. I mean, if Floyd Mayweather faced Canelo a second time, everybody and their mama gonna watch it because Floyd Mayweather's a pay-per-view star and Canelo's a pay-per-view star. That everybody would watch it and their mama. Okay. But what I would say is, like he said, what's the point to having that fight? I mean, Floyd Mayweather's retired. He'd have to come out of retirement. What's the point you're making? However, that fight becomes more and more impressive if Canelo was to beat all the people and almost clean out his division and then face Floyd Mayweather. That would be huge. It would be a huge, huge fight for a number of different reasons. So, but of course, Canelo, of course, will welcome that fight because that's a money fight. Nonetheless, Alvarez owns a unanimous decision victory over the 4-divisional champion, Miguel Cotto. Yes, he does. But other than Golovkin and Mayweather, 2 of Alvarez's closest bouts were unanimous and split decisions over left-handed former title holders, Austin Trout and Erislandy Lara. And what's very important for people to understand is Erislandy Lara is a very skilled boxer. I mean, he was beaten by that big super welterweight just recently there, Jarrett Hurd. But he's a tricky customer, okay? And Austin Trout is still a very viable opponent, even though Jermell Charlo, I mean, pretty much knocked him down and knocked him about the ring. Nonetheless, I want to say that there is still one more person who's going to come up to middleweight to make the middleweight division even richer, and that is going to be Jarrett Hurd. He's going to move up into the middleweight division very soon, and so that's going to be one of the richest divisions ever. Okay, it's going to beat back welterweight, and welterweight's pretty exciting. So when you think of Jarrett Hurd moving up into middleweight, he expressed that he's going to have a fight, and then he's going to try and fight Jermell Charlo, and then if he can beat Jermell Charlo, whatever happens after that, he's going to move up to middleweight. So you're looking at 7 potential really talented, skilled boxers that Canelo will have to face. Well, here's what Boo Boo had to say. And I mean, it's a very exciting division. The middleweight division has just suddenly become like super exciting. And you got the fringe guys like David Lemieux, and you got guys like, some of the fringe guys. Anyway, Canelo won't be able to handle Boo Boo, says Andre's father and trainer, Paul Andrade. They're both southpaws too, but Lara and Trout don't have the power of Boo Boo. I don't agree with that. I think Lara has much more power than Boo Boo, whose speed, movement, and ring savvy will be too much for Canelo. I think that Canelo has seen a Demetrius Boo Boo in some respects. Let me explain what I mean, Andre. He's seen the skill level of Boo Boo in Lara, and he's seen the sort of angles that Boo Boo throws in Trout. Now, Trout doesn't have a sharper jab, and he's not as sharp as Boo Boo, and he definitely doesn't have as quick a footwork as Boo Boo. Lara has quicker footwork, but he still is not as sharp as Boo Boo. But at the end of the day, Canelo has seen Boo Boo, and there's nothing really new that Boo Boo is going to bring to the table for Canelo to see. He's a very talented boxer, don't get me wrong. He's got some skills, but he's like a one-trick pony, I keep on saying. He reminds me of Amir Khan. He's tougher than Amir Khan, but he's just speedy. The thing you just have to get used to is his speed, and then from there you can really pretty much handle him. So that's what I have to say. He is 6'1", though. The 6'1" Andre's last fight was last month's 4 knockdown unanimous decision over WBO's vacant crown, previously unbeaten Walter Carton Qual. Walter Carton Qual is like a fossil fuel. He comes straight ahead. He's straight up and down fighter. So you can't really measure it off of that. Canelo is not a straight up and down fighter. Whose run of 16 consecutive stoppages ended as did Andrade's 366-day ring absence since rising from the 7th-round knockdown of a unanimous decision over the previously undefeated 6'5" Alvarez Fox in his 160-pound debut. So anyway, Andrade has not been in the middleweight division for very long, and he's done very well because he's got the WBO title in his 2nd or 3rd fight in the middleweight division. So he's doing very well, as is Jamal Charlo. However, I just think they're green. I just think that those guys would not stand a chance against Canelo as much as they're good and everything. I think Canelo beats those guys because of the experience he has. But I do think that Danny Jacobs, as I've expressed again, I think Canelo's going to fight Danny Jacobs in May. I really seriously think so. And I hope that the fans push for it because that's a fight that I would definitely long to see. I think Danny Jacobs beats Jamal Charlo at this point in time. But I do think, because Danny Jacobs is very skilled as well. But what I want to say, though, is I would love to see Danny Jacobs versus Canelo. That's the fight I really want to see, not the Rocky Fielding fight. I want to see Danny Jacobs versus Canelo. That's the fight I want to see. If it was Callum Smith against Canelo, I would have been more interested in that fight when he moved up to 168. But he's going with Rocky Fielding. It is what it is. Canelo and I are on the same platform with DAZN, so there should be nothing about whose side of the pond you're on and all that other nonsense that they may try to use, which they won't use. If Canelo wants to fight Demetrius Andrade, he's going to fight Demetrius Andrade. He fought Erislandy Lara, he picked him. He fought Austin Trout, he picked him. He fought Floyd Mayweather, he picked him. He fought Miguel Cotto, he picked him. So, it doesn't matter. If Canelo wants to fight you, he's going to fight you, okay? But there's no incentive for him to fight Demetrius Andrade right now. I think he's going to fight Danny Jacobs. That's a given. I don't think he's going to fight Gennady Golovkin again. There's no point to that. That fight's a pointless fight. I mean, Gennady Golovkin got to do something in the interim to make it convincing that he can beat Canelo. But I do believe he's going to face Demetrius Andrade. I'm sorry. I think he's going to face Danny Jacobs. I can tell you, certainly he's going to face Danny Jacobs. I don't know if he's going to face Demetrius Andrade. I don't know if he's going to face Jamal Charlo. I think they're rather green. But if they want to, pull their kahunas together and see what Canelo can do, by all means, go ahead. But he's not a joke. Canelo can take a punch. 1, 2. Canelo's got really good defense, and they're going to learn that really quickly. And he's very sneaky. He's going to get shots in that you never expected him to be able to get shots in on. So I don't know. Those guys are talking right now, but I don't think they're ready for a fight like that. But it would be nice to see. I mean, it just means that Canelo would more than likely win those fights. I think the toughest fight for Canelo right now is Danny Jacobs. A lot of people think Danny Jacobs would beat Canelo. I just don't think so. I saw Danny Jacobs almost, I think he beat GGG, but because of the knockdown, he wasn't counted. But I think Canelo did a much more comprehensive job on GGG and beat down GGG much better than both times than Danny Jacobs did. Canelo wasn't even touched in the first fight. And the second time, he gave a beating to GGG. And again, his face was clean. Danny Jacobs' face was all puffy. And Danny Jacobs was doing this life and death battle, just emptying out his tank on GGG. He was tired at the end of the fight, resting on the ropes. So that's because he punched himself out, actually. But it wasn't because GGG really did him anything. But at the end of the day, I think that Danny Jacobs is an excellent fighter. I would love to see him face Canelo. And then after that, I think the next person in line would be either Billy Joe Saunders or Demetrius Andrade. I think they're next in line. So Andrade has a reason to be talking. If you ask me, he should really keep on talking and making noise so he can get that fight. I hope he does. But he's next in line after Danny Jacobs. So hopefully, if he makes enough noise, he'll actually get that fight. And that fight will really, send him up because it will be a pay-per-view fight. It will really get attention to him. And he'll actually be able to make more money in his boxing fights if he can have Canelo on his resume, win, lose, or draw. So that's a good fight for him. And if I was him, I would be talking too. So He says, I know Canelo's trying to stay away from dangerous guys like me right now by going up to 168. It's not that I'm saying fielding's not a tough fight, but I think that for Canelo to stay relevant and continue building his legacy, then he's going to have to fight guys like me. Now, first of all, I don't think he's going up to 168 to avoid these guys. In fact, 168. This is basically a tune-up fight for Canelo to come back down to 160. And the tune-up he's picked is not really a tune-up. It's a world champion. Not the full-fledged a paper champion, but it's still a world champion. So you have to really pay attention to what Canelo is doing and see the method in the madness. He's going up into a heavier weight class again just to feel the power of a heavier weight class before coming down to his weight class to be able to handle guys like Danny Jacobs and all the other guys. You know, because I don't know, those guys think they hit hard. They don't hit hard. So Canelo is doing something like what Floyd did. He campaigned to the higher weight class, come back down to, say, Floyd went up to super welterweight, did his thing, then come back down to welterweight. The only difference is Floyd went for the best super welterweight out there. Canelo's just kind of going up and he's not going for the best super welterweight. I know it's because of the zone and it's a stay busy fight and stuff, but you look at Floyd back to back to back. He just had tough fights. Canelo doesn't have that. This fight is Rocky Fielding is a very good boxer, and he could hurt Canelo at possibly if Canelo's not, on point. But Canelo's going to be on point. I would have loved to see Canelo go up to like challenger Callum Smith. That would have been much better. Rocky Fielding is a better, more all-around fighter. And I think Callum Smith versus Canelo would have been a better matchup for Canelo anyway, because Canelo would have been able to get on the inside and destroy Callum Smith pretty much. But nonetheless, Callum Smith is pretty sharp as well. But, it is what it is. Maybe the guy is a DAZN fighter, so that's why that worked out the way it did. But at the end of the day, he's going to be in two weight classes, 168 and 160. He's going to kind of jump in between both weight classes. And I kind of like that because, again, Canelo's probably becoming a big, solid middleweight. That's why Gennady Golovkin, he could push Gennady Golovkin around the last time. It's probably because he's grown into middleweight, and now he's a big, powerful middleweight. And so he's going up to super middleweight because he's going to probably campaign at super middleweight at some point. So, I mean, that's just what it is. So I would love to see the Danny Jacobs fight. I would love to see and then again, at 168, it's starting to heat up. You have guys like Peter Quillen up in there, and we still have DeGale there, but he's kind of worn out from injury. But you got those guys in there, so it's going to be interesting. Demetrius Andrews says it's going to come down to who you fought to build your legacy. So of course, after he fights Fielding, I'm going to be yelling and screaming, trying to make our fight happen. That's not going to happen next, though. That's for sure. It's Cinco de Mayo. Canelo's going to be fighting Danny Jacobs. I sure as hell don't want him to fight Triple G. That's a waste of time. Once that happens, I'm going to go in there the night of the fight and do everything I can to whoop his butt. I know if you put me in the ring with Canelo Alvarez, I'm going to put my hands on him, use my footwork, and put on a show. I'm going to make magic happen. So he's selling. He's selling the point that he wants that fight. And he has to. You have to talk loud because there's a lot of people up in that division. That division is loaded with talent. So the only problem I have with Boo Boo is Boo Boo ain't fought nobody. Like Boo Boo didn't fight Jamal Charlo. He should be trying to get the fight with Jamal Charlo right now, or he should be trying to get a fight with Danny Jacobs. But he's not gonna fight Danny Jacobs because they say they're brothers. So you got. He was trying to get a fight with Billy Joe Saunders, so you got to give him his credit for that. And I hope Billy Joe Saunders, he can get that fight with Billy Joe Saunders. We can see what really goes on with those two. But it's kind of like Demetrius Andrew ain't fought nobody really, like really superstar or anything. He had nobody on his resume. You know what I'm saying? Danny Jacobs got Triple G. He got Danny Jacobs got Peter Quillen. That's two big names right there. He got Sergio Mora. I mean, who does Demetrius Andrew get? He got nobody. You know what I'm saying? So remember, it's about who you fight and who you beat, right? So why would Canelo want to fight you over, say, Danny Jacobs? So you can shout how loud you want, Demetrius Andrew. First of all, Canelo ain't dying to get a WBO belt. You know what I'm saying? Canelo got 2 of the belts already. He got WBA and WBC. Of course, he would love to get the IBF. So, Danny Jacobs all round is more attractive any day, anytime. Besides, he's more experienced. He's been a career middleweight. He's beaten names. You know what I'm saying? He's faced names. He's been beaten by names. When you think about those kinds of things, the experience Danny Jacobs has gotten and learned and grown with. I mean, Demetrius Andrade ain't nowhere there. He's like a baby compared to that. So I would think that the toughest guy that Canelo would go against would be Danny Jacobs. I mean, that's just kind of a logical conclusion to everything. It's just a better fight, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys. What do you think? What's your opinion? Your comments in the chat section. I know some of you guys are talking right now, but I can't fault Demetrius Andrade for talking. I mean, that's one thing he does very well is talk. But when you look at really his resume, he ain't got nobody he fought. Jamal Charlo got better fights, better people on his resume. He got Austin Trout. He got some other people that are reputable, and his brother's probably gonna have more reputable people than either of them. So until Andre steps up and actually faces somebody worth the while for Canelo to talk to, he's got belt. But it's a belt that nobody cares about. Nobody cares about the WBO belt. Nobody. I mean, Canelo fought some guy for the WBO belt at super welterweight. Nobody really cares about that. I don't care about it. WBO is not reputable like the WBA and WBC. Like Terrence Crawford got a WBO belt from who? Jeff Horn? Like, really? Nobody care about that belt. So I'm just saying. But at the end of the day, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a set of people who you can look at and say, well, these guys are doing X, Y, and Z. This is the job that they're doing, and Demetrius Sanders is making noise. He has to talk. You have to promote something. So that's how that goes. I'm gonna continue this song. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Just take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful who will all sorrows share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Well, seriously, man. There ain't nothing that you shouldn't take to God in prayer. Anything you can think of, you take it to God in prayer. Talking about another Alvarez, we're talking about the light heavyweight division. Elita Alvarez talks about Stevenson and Kovalev. And basically, he thinks that Adonis Stevenson is going to beat Alexander Gvozdek. I personally don't know. I have not seen Alexander Gvozdek, and I know for a fact that Adonis Stevenson is an old guy. He's 41 years old. That's ancient in the sport of boxing. He is the same age as Floyd Mayweather, who has retired. If I was Stevenson, I would retire now before I get my tail whooped, because his stamina is getting bad. And if Gvozdek can go to the body and avoid the left hand, use good defense and avoid the left hand, he gonna beat Stevenson, might even stop him. So I've seen the performance with Badou Jack, who's not even a full-fledged light heavyweight, and I can tell you right now, if Gvozdek got any kind of skill level that's even a semblance of what Badou Jack can do, that Stevenson is going to get beaten. But Alvarez believes that Stevenson will beat Gvozdek. It is what it is. So here's what Elita Alvarez had to say. And to be honest, the Colombian, he can box. Elita Alvarez is a very good boxer. He's not really known as a knockout artist, but he did get a knockout victory against Sergey Kovalev. I think Andrew Ward has to get the credit for most of that, though. Nonetheless, This is what he has to say. On December 1st, which is a couple days from now, he believes that Adonis Stevenson will defeat Alexander Gavarsdik. And Elita Alvarez obviously has beaten Sergey Kovalev already, but they may have a second rematch. They may have a rematch in February of next year. So that should be interesting. So, first of all, the 34-year-old Alvarez ended 3 years of frustration as Stevenson's mandatory challenger in August with a 7th-round knockout that dethroned Sergey Kovalev, scoring 3 final round knockdowns in the dramatic come-from-behind victory. The Colombian, who moved to Montreal in 2009, became pro, and he will be ringside in Quebec City to support heavyweight countryman Oscar Rivas, who will face Fabio Maldonado on the Stevenson Gavarsdik undercard. I'm going to be there because of my best friend Oscar Rivas is fighting that night, said Alvarez, among 4 division titles with Stevenson's IBF King. So, man, the light heavyweight division is also very exciting. I mean, we got a whole new crop of people. And, of course, some of my favorite fighters are there. Amongst the 4 divisional title holders with Stevenson is the IBF King Arthur Beterbiev. That's one of my favorite boxers. WBA titles Dmitry Bivol, who's shown that he got boxing skills, so I'm impressed by him. So Elita Alvarez, Bivol, Beterbiev, Stevenson, then we got Badu Jack, and we got Marcus Brown. That's the division that we have so far. I think there's somebody else going to move up into the division, which is an exciting fighter as well. But anyway, just moving on. But I'm also going to be observing Stevenson and Usyk with a lot of interest. I really think that Adonis is going to win that fight. I don't know what Usyk they're talking about. You mean Gavarsdik? I think he's going to win it by knockout. Alvarez became Stevenson's mandatory with a majority decision over Isaac Chilimba in 2015. He won a pair of decisions over opponents in 2016 and scored a 5th-round stoppage of left-handed former title holder Lucien Buche on February 2017, as well as a major decision over former champion Jean Pascal in June 2017 before beating Kovalev. So the boy can box. I looked really good knocking out Lucien Buche, even better beating Jean Pascal, and better than that in my last fight with Kovalev, said Alvarez, who shares trainer Mark Ramsey with Beterbiev and promoter Yvan Mitchell with both Beterbiev and Stevenson. After beating Kovalev again, I want Adonis Stevenson first. Then I want Dmitry Bivol. But everyone knows that Arthur Beterbiev and I have the same traders, so that fight won't happen anytime soon. It kind of sucks that sometimes these guys say that, because they have the same trainer, they can't fight. I hope that will stop. And, this is my brother kind of nonsense will end in boxing. I want to see some fights. I always wanted to see the Klitschko brothers fight one another. I say, if you're in the sport where it's about fighting, why not fight each other? It's good money. So let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my own thing. I know these guys, they train, they spar together, whatever. But you know what? You can make some money with your family, man. Keep it in-house. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see why family members can't fight one another. Charlo brothers, I hope they fight one another one day. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Storm Alvarez displayed mobility, a rapier jab, and a granite chin, double-fisted power, and overcame a 6-round cut between his left eye caused by a headbutt during the Crush's most devastating setback since an 8th-round stoppage in June 2017 to Andrade Ward, who had won a decision over Kovalev in 2016. I am the #1 guy at 175 because I fought and knocked out Sergey Kovalev, who was considered the best, said Elita Alvarez. Again, I don't know why these fighters do that. You're not the #1 guy, dude. Yeah, you knocked out Sergey Kovalev, but Andrade Ward did that first. So you're not considered, Kovalev's not #1 guy. He wasn't pound for pound or anything. In fact, the rankings changed in the division, so you can't be the #1 guy. Well, he did beat some really good opposition, though. I never thought Stevenson wanted to fight me, and now with my KO, Sergey Kovalev is going to be worse. He's an old man. Lay off the dude. Stevenson needs to retire. As reported earlier by BoxingScene.com, Alvarez could rematch Kovalev on February 2nd at the Ford Center at the Star Dallas Cowboys training facility outside of Dallas. I expect a tougher rematch against a better version of Kovalev, who should be more focused, motivated, concentrated after losing the title to me. But I feel like right now people see our rematch as a 50-50 fight. I still have something to prove to Kovalev and people in general. 2 fights are never the same, but if a knockout happened for me the first time, I can make it happen again, said Alvarez. Maybe. I'm going to focus on boxing while doing my best. If the opportunity presents itself against Kovalev, I'll jump on it. As for Adonis Stevenson, everyone knows he's a great puncher, and I have to fight a very smart fight. It's never my objective to start a fight looking for a knockout, but I have demonstrated against Kovalev that if I stick to the right game plan, a knockout is something that I'm very capable of getting. If the circumstances present themselves for a knockout, like they did against Kovalev, I'll go for the knockout against Stevenson. So he didn't definitely say he would beat Stevenson or knock him out or something like that, but that's what it is. Again, this is done by Lem Satterfield. And I thought this was interesting to talk about because, you know, again, a lot of people believe that, you know, with this division, it's a very rich division. We don't know who's really the top dog there yet. I truly believe Badou Jack beat Stevenson, and I think Badou Jack is someone, and Marcos Brown are two people who are not right now world champions in that division. Badou Jack was a world champion in the division, and now Bivol has it because he did not fight his mandatory. But at the end of the day, you know, Badou Jack is, you know, somebody you guys got to consider, whether it's Stevenson or Alvarez or Gavorsdig or Bivol or BWF. They need to consider Badou Jack, because Badou Jack and Marcos Brown, those are two guys you got to pay attention to in that division. Marcos Brown being the younger guy, Badou Jack being very experienced. Badou Jack is not a full light heavyweight. He's a smaller guy than all the other guys, but he's got skills that really make him a serious contender in that division. He's like the small guy in the division, but he that boy can box. He got good defense. He can box. So I'm really impressed with Badou Jack and how he fights on the inside, especially. And I look forward to seeing more of Badou Jack in that division. I'm actually excited for BWF, Badou Jack. This new guy, Bivol, I don't know him too well, but he's really interesting. And Leader Alvarez can box. So we got a lot of boxers in that division. It's a beautiful division. So I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen. In addition, you got the Cuban boxer in the division. I think he got stopped though by Bivol. So you got a very interesting division there. So light heavyweight's really interesting and exciting. Super middleweight is also interesting. Not as strong a division as, say, the middleweight division, which is just packed right now. It's just, you know, I'm talking 7 talented, really superstars that we're going to see how it meshes together. You know, then you got the super welterweight division, which is Jarrett Hurd pretty much dominates that division. But you got some interesting boxers in that division. But then you have also the welterweight division is packed. It's just packed with talent and skill. When you think of the welterweight division, you're talking about Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Lamont Peterson, Mikey Garcia maybe stepping up into that division, Adrian Broner. You got Jesse Vargas. You got Andre Berto. Victor Ortiz. It's a packed division. Amir Khan. It's a very, very packed division. I'm talking like there's a lot of talent in that division. It just goes on and on and on. You know, when you talk about names, there's a lot of names in that division. So I'm pretty impressed with that division. I would like to see what will come of it. Robert Guerrero's coming back into that division too. So they got a lot of names in that division, and it's a very stacked division. The welterweight is probably the most stacked division of all, but it's a very exciting time because there's all these new boxers, and they're all able to face one another. Manny Pacquiao's in that division. I haven't forgot that. That's 9 to 10 top talented, incredibly talented people in that division. So it's a huge welterweight division. Is probably the most explosive division of boxing right now. It's the most exciting division, and for good reason. I guess that's why Mikey Garcia just kind of threw his hat in there and said, I'm going for the biggest, baddest dude in welterweight that you guys say is biggest, baddest. I'm going to make my name in that division, and you guys going to have to face me. So, you know, I think that's what Mikey Garcia said. You know what? There's money in that division. There's no money in lightweight. There's money in the welterweight division. You know, that makes perfect sense to me. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that and just break down what I think, my points and views on those things. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Oh, we got some people here, and they're probably chatting away. Let me see if I can get to you guys really quickly. See what you guys have to say. Ooh, there's a lot of people talking up in here. Okay, let me see if I can talk to each and every one of you. Whoa. Michael A. Shout out to you, Michael A. I don't know who you are, It's the first time I'm seeing you. Shout out to you, Michael A. I'm sorry that I couldn't respond to you. I was just kind of talking and wasn't really interfacing with you. So Michael A says, damn. Hey, Michael A says, damn, Andrade and Charles begging for a money fight. Shaking my head. It's embarrassing, man. It's not working. Well, no, it's not that. You have to start barking early, especially, look, man, think about it this way, Michael A. You're in this big, long line, right, of talent, okay? The middleweight division is stacked with talent. We have 7, 8 different people. And it might get bigger, okay? Jarrett Hurst is going to come up in there. You got to start calling out the big dog early. You know, Keith Thurman started calling out Floyd Mayweather like 7 years before he became world champion. And you have to start barking early, right? And the good thing about Demetrius Andrade, he got a belt. He got a belt, right? He got a belt, the WBO belt. So, you know, it wasn't the opponent he wanted to face. He wanted to face Billy Joe Saunders to show something, but, you know, he got a belt. So he starts barking. I mean, if I was in the same position as him, I'd do the same thing. So I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at Jermell Charlo either. They show that Canelo is the gold standard. Canelo is the money guy. Of course, I'm calling him out. Okay, I want to make my name popular. Now, as amazing as this may sound to you guys in boxing, Canelo is not a worldwide name. He's not Floyd Mayweather. He's not Manny Pacquiao. Amazing as this sounds, as great as Canelo is in boxing, and we know him, and he's the face of boxing now, he's not as big as Floyd Mayweather or as big as Manny Pacquiao. Just what it is. That's just the way how it goes. So Manny Pacquiao, for instance, is carrying Adrian Broner into a bigger spotlight. You know, people get to know these guys outside of boxing because they know Pacquiao. So when Manny Pacquiao starts boxing, whoever his opponent is, people get to know who that opponent is. Okay? Christopher Smith says, what's so embarrassing about calling out people from your division? Get out of here with that nonsense. Exactly. You're supposed to do that. He's supposed to do that. That's his job. He should be, you know, he trying to vie for position ahead of Danny Jacobs. It ain't going to work, but he going to try. You notice Danny Jacobs not calling out Canelo, right? But they actively working in the background to get that fight. And I hope they get that fight. I really do, because that's a fight that's worth the while to actually see how Canelo matches up against Danny Jacobs, who is considered by many as the number one middleweight in the world. They actually consider Danny Jacobs a better middleweight fighter than Gennady Golovkin and Canelo. So let's see. Let's see if that's true. Michael A says, because it's not working. No, you can't. It's chess, not checkers, though, Michael A. So what I mean by that is, it is working because the media covered it. So that means it gets traction, which means they're calling out Canelo. At some point in time down the road, it's going to get Canelo's attention, and they will fight Canelo. It's inevitable. They're going to fight Canelo, whether it is at 168 or whether it's at 160. They're going to fight Canelo. So that's what you do. You start calling them out. You continue to win. You continue to showcase your skills, and you keep on calling out guys. Floyd Mayweather, when he called out Oscar De La Hoya and what's his name? Shane Mosley, he started calling them out at 140. Okay, he wasn't even a 147 pounder or a 154 pounder, you know, and he was calling out these guys. That's what you got to do. That was many years before he faced Shane Mosley. He was like, he started calling out Shane Mosley in 2005, I think it was, or 2004, and he faced Shane Mosley 6 years after. He started calling out Oscar De La Hoya in 2004. He got to Oscar in 2007. That's 3 years after. You got to be vocal about what you want. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the way it goes. Michael A says, let your work do the talking. No, it can't. It doesn't work like that, bro. You can do great work and never get the fight that you want to get. You have to be vocal about it. You have to express that you want that fight. Christopher Smith says, welcome to Boxing Politics. Jamel couldn't get him at 154. Jamal won't get him at 160. I don't think so. I don't think this is where I disagree with you, Christopher Smith. I don't know if Jamal won't get him at 160. I can't say that. It depends. Jamal has positioned himself in a good position as intermediate WBC world champion. So he's right there in position to get that Canelo fight. The problem with it is he's competing with other guys who also want that Canelo fight. It's a whole bunch of guys. Golovkin wants a rematch. Danny Jacobs wants to face Canelo. You got Demetrius Andrade wants to face Canelo. You know, Billy Joe Saunders wants to face Canelo. So you competing with all of these different guys. Not to mention Jarrett Hurd is going to move up into that division. When you got so many different people calling you out, you can pick and choose who you want to face. Obviously, Canelo is not going to rematch GG. That would be dumb to rematch GGG on May 5th. What does that prove? It proves nothing. What would be better for him would be to face Danny Jacobs. That's the cream of the crop right there. The most experienced middleweight out of all the middleweights. And the guy that arguably beat GGG. He's faced a common opponent, did pretty well against it. So I would definitely pick Danny Jacobs. Hands down, Danny Jacobs gets that fight. And they're pushing for that fight. So I don't see why they won't get it. I think Canelo, after he comes down from 160, is going to face Danny Jacobs. That's been Canelo's way. Canelo usually goes against the toughest competition you could find. And he's going to face Danny Jacobs, and he's going to fight Danny Jacobs. If he beats Danny Jacobs, you can expect Canelo to either go back up to 168, do one other fight, or he may just stay at 168 and not come back down. Or he may come back down and face one of those guys again at 160. Or he may just bounce between 168 and 160. Who knows? He's got lots of options, okay? And lots of people want to fight him. So, you know, Jamal is probably the least likely to get that fight. However, Demetrius Andrade, he's in a position. He positioned himself, even though I don't know if Canelo wants the WBO title. He's positioned himself pretty nicely where he might be able to get that fight because he's with DAZN and everything. And Canelo has a certain amount of fights he has to fight with DAZN. So if Canelo's not at 168, it could very possibly be that Canelo fights him again, fights Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade might get his fight. I don't see why he won't get his fight. And Billy Joe Saunders might get the fight too. So you're looking at Saunders, Andrade, and Jacobs getting fights. Definitely. That's almost a guarantee. Almost, I say. I'm pretty sure Jacobs gonna get the fight, but I don't know about Andrade or Saunders. And if he would pick Saunders over Andrade, I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. He may pick Andrade because there's no WBA title. If I was Andrade, I would face Saunders, who was the former titleist. Make sure I beat Saunders so that determines, then come Canelo, come collect the belt. You know, I prove myself. You know, he hasn't proven himself so far. He ain't beat nobody at 160 to prove that he's ready to face Canelo. We can say clearly that Danny Jacobs has. Michael A says, who's to say he won't get him? They say the same thing about GGG. Exactly. They say he ducked GGG and all of that, and he just faced GGG and beat him twice. Big Brother in Life. Shout out to you, Big Brother in Life. Shout out to you, Christopher Smith. Big Brother in Life says, Andrade has a point. Canelo needs to leave Floyd alone. Fight the prime middleweight. His legacy depends on fighting those guys. All those guys are 50-50 fights. It's really not a clear winner. Right. So I agree with you. Like I agreed with all that one segment. I don't think you should be trying to chase down a retired fighter to start with. And plus, the retired fighter, yeah, it's a money fight. I know you want the money, but I mean, come on now. Come on, man. The dude, first of all, he's retired. Two, dude doesn't even have you on his radar. Okay. Even though he may have you on his radar because he's throwing trash talk and shade at you. So it's possible. But at the end of the day, I mean, if he gets a fight with Floyd Mayweather, great. But he's retired right now. Leave the guy alone. All these fights are 50-50 fights. It's not a clear winner. I wouldn't say they're 50-50 fights. I definitely think that Canelo beats Danny Jacobs. I think so. Danny Jacobs got a lot of skill and everything, but I just think Canelo beats him because of the things that Canelo does in that ring and the way how he's able to access certain things, and his defense is really on point. Not saying that Danny Jacobs don't have good defense too. Clearly he does, and in his fight with Derevchenko, he proved that. But I'm just saying that I think Canelo's trickier. Canelo is more than he appears. Let's just put it that way. And where Derevchenko would take a shot on his head and his nugget, and he's tough, Canelo won't even offer that shot. You know what I mean? Canelo's a little more trickier. He can come to you, he can walk to you and still make you throw a shot first and counterpunch you. He can lead when you expect him to sit back and counterpunch you. So Canelo's a very tricky guy. He's not as predictable as people think. And he can walk down Danny Jacobs. As big as Danny Jacobs is, he can walk Danny Jacobs down. Then he can make Danny Jacobs chase him down and make it look like Danny Jacobs is walking him down. So Canelo's a tricky customer. He can do a lot of things. Okay. And we're yet to see a lot more from him. So I just don't think that it's a 50-50 fight. I think some people think it's 50-50. I just don't see it. I tell you, man, Canelo got that defense, boy. He got that defense. Christopher Smith, GGG was calling him out for over 2 years. GGG was calling out Canelo. Yeah, but Canelo wasn't even in his weight class for 2 years. That's the problem. You know, after he beat Miguel Cotto, that fight happened the next year. So I mean, it wasn't even a middleweight fight. If you think about it, this was a Canelo weight fight, 155. Okay, Canelo weight. So you know, I'm making a joke here, but honestly, again, GGG called him out. Okay, so GGG called him out and still lost twice. He lost twice to Canelo. Okay, a lot of people were saying that GGG won the first fight. No, he didn't win no first fight. He was hitting air. Canelo's face was clean. GGG's face was messed up. The second fight, GGG's face was even more messed up. Okay, so no, he didn't win no fight. And he called Canelo out and still got beaten. Big Brother says, no wonder why Eubanks Jr. left the middleweight division. Not quite sure I follow you on that one. Christopher Smith said, it wasn't until GGG was 35 that they actually fought. And what does age have to do with anything? You gonna blame it on age now? Oh, you're gonna do that Shane Mosley kind of thing. Shane Mosley goes and knocks out, it looks sensational, and knocks out what's his name? He goes and he knocks out what's that that tall guy, the guy that beat Cotto. You guys know what I'm talking about. He's back in boxing, by the way. He knocks out that dude, but then he's an old guy when he faces Floyd Mayweather. I mean, come on now. You know, GGG's last fight, if I'm not mistaken. All right. GGG's last fight. GGG knocks out Vanes Martirosyan. All right. He knocks out Vanes Martirosyan. Canelo walks him down. His fight before Canelo was Daniel Jacobs, where he did struggle. But he did knock out Kell Brook the fight before. All right. Then he faced Daniel Jacobs. He was looking like a beast all that time. You know, Kell Brook was punching him in his face and everything, but he was like, come on, let's go. You remember that? You guys forgot? He knocked out Dominic Wade the time before. Knocked him out senseless. He stopped David Lemieux, boxed him. Looked like Floyd Mayweather. Y'all forget all this? He beat up Willie Monroe. Oh, all of a sudden, he's 35 years old. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't make excuses like that. He was doing the same thing he was trying to do to those guys, just less successfully, because the level of competition was much better. All right, that's that. Let's not make excuses, man. Excuses. People only make excuses when they lose, and one of the things I hate is with losers making excuses. Just own up. The guy was the better man, and that's that. Michael A. Canelo has put more than enough work. Big Brother at Christopher Smith. Facts. Michael A. Have you seen Yoel Romero? The age thing is of the past. Exactly. If you're making that argument for GGG, what are you saying about Floyd Mayweather? Remember, GGG was untouched. The dude never been touched. He'd be the guy dealing out the punishment. He was the knockout artist, right? Hardly being hit by anybody. So you can't say nothing. That's the argument you guys make for Floyd. Oh, he preserved his body very well. He hardly gets hit. Okay, GGG's 35 years old, hardly gets hit. So what are you talking about? He dying down, slowing down. He ain't got no wear and tear on him. That's the same argument you guys make for Floyd. And you want to compare GGG to Floyd? All of a sudden, oh, he's 35 years old. Come on, man. Canelo fought a 36-year-old Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather schooled him. And he was the bigger dude. So don't come with that nonsense. Don't come with GGG's age. Come on, man. Come on, guys. This is sports, yes, but I mean, come on now. Michael A says, no more excuses, man, please. Thank you. Christopher Smith says, Canelo calling out names that are either retired or not in his division. This is how a unified champion should behave. Hey, man, I know everybody always hates the King of the Mountain. You know, but he looking for a paycheck. Canelo always looking for a paycheck. So, And by the way, what really happened was they asked Canelo the question, um, would you fight Floyd if he came back from retirement? And Canelo was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. That's what he said. But even so, be that as it may, I totally agree with some of you in that he should be focused on his division. Floyd's not. Floyd's retired. Focus on whoever you're going to face. Focus on the guys that are in the division. And the thing that I think is hypocritical is when Canelo started talking about how Floyd facing the MMA fighter that he did face, how, you know, that was not boxing and blah, 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 but you're ready to fight Floyd if he were to come back. That's hypocritical in my opinion. So I agree with you guys on that. Michael A says, mine are facts as well, but you don't want to admit it. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Christopher Smith says it's probably his handler saying all this nonsense. Canelo's probably busy in camp. Michael A, I think Canelo mentioned it like once. That's it. Every right to. Big brother in life. Well, he's sneaky, but he hasn't conquered those styles that gave him issues. Canelo's best chance is to take those dudes now. Once again, I don't know what you're talking about. If I'm not mistaken, Canelo was doing a lot of body work to Erislandy Lara. Supposedly, Mr. Difficult. Austin Trout, he dropped him. So I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I'm sorry, man. I just don't get what you're talking about. If they so slick and they so southpaw, they supposed to have the advantage of being southpaw and slick. Didn't work for them, all right? Christopher Smith says, hey, Michael, a father time in boxing varies among athletes. There are many factors, both genetic and environmental, that alter your aging process. Triple G ain't aging nothing. That's Triple G is Triple G. You look at Triple G when he got beaten by Canelo and was walking down. He tried the same thing he tried to do against David Lemieux and against Curtis Stevens and against what's the guy name? I forgot the guy that he knocked out recently. So don't go there. He just couldn't do it. He tried to impose his will on Canelo. Canelo just backed him up. And I'll tell you why. Canelo can bob and weave. He can slip and slide. Them other boxers don't know nothing about that. They just had pure power. And Canelo got bigger. He got stronger. Triple G couldn't push him around at all. Triple G couldn't even find him. So that's what's happening. Again, Triple G landed his jab, so-called jab, not much power punches. And the reason is because Canelo knows how to roll, slip, bob, weave, dip, you know, so many different things Canelo knows how to do. That's why Triple G can't just nail Canelo with nothing. Michael A says Charles needs to fight Andrade or Jacobs before anything. Yeah, Jamal Charlo ain't fought nobody. But hey, look, if Canelo want to face Charlo next, that's be it. But I don't think that's the best in the division. Charlo hasn't proven he's the best in the division. I can tell you for a fact, Danny Jacobs has proven he's the best, one of the best in the division. So that's where Danny Jacobs, should be, Canelo should be facing Danny Jacobs, because this is what happens. If Canelo would have faced Jamal Charlo, then they'll say, oh, Jamal Charlo was inexperienced. He was green at middleweight. He was a former world champion and everything. But look, Canelo trying to take advantage of Jamal Charlo's experience, right? If he faced Demetrius Andrade before he faced Danny Jacobs, basically this is what's going on. They're going to say, oh, well, boo-boo, he never really fought nobody. Yeah, he won some titles, but he never really fought nobody. Canelo just beat him. He didn't beat nobody, right? That's what will happen. So Canelo has to fight the most qualified dude. When he beat Triple G, people are like, oh, well, Triple G ain't all that. Who Triple G faced? That's what they're going to say. But he faced Danny Jacobs, right? And they gave him the win. So you can't say that. Now they had, oh, Triple G old. How could Triple G turn old overnight? What did Triple G do to get old? Y'all tripping, man. Triple G don't take no punishment in the ring. He deal out the punishment. So what are you talking about? Triple G got old. So Triple G got old, but Floyd Mayweather didn't get old. Floyd was 36 when he faced Canelo. What are you talking about? So you can't use that. That is double standards. That is wrong. Triple G ain't old. Triple G ain't take no punishment. And he treats his body well. Triple G is not old. Triple G had dealt with competition he had to step up and face. And the competition at the high level, at the elite level, it shows Triple G comes up short against the elite level competition. That's just what it is. He was lucky he got that knockdown of Danny Jacobs. And Danny Jacobs was his mistake. You know what I'm saying? Danny Jacobs should learn from that for the Canelo fight. But it's elite fighters you're dealing with. And you can see the Triple G ain't got much separation from them. He ain't faced no elite fighters. See, and everybody comparing Triple G to Floyd Mayweather, how he's so slick and blah, 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 and the shifting and blah, blah. Yeah, but you wasn't facing nobody. When you started facing somebody, it was different. Michael, you make noise when you win big fights consistently, not just with your mouth. Exactly. I agree with that. Brother is worked in healthcare. I know all about genetics and still an excuse. GGG is a super athlete and still been knocking people out. All of a sudden, GGG loses and his age. Shake my head. Exactly. Exactly. Peace out. Canelo and Ward boxing champs. Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. They doing something right. Christopher Smith. Charlo needs to fight Andrade. The WBC initially ordered the winner of Canelo GGG 2 to face the mandatory. Well, all right. So if Canelo wants to face the mandatory, then let him face the mandatory. You know, they tried to make Canelo face GGG. Didn't work. So WBC, good luck on that. Canelo is going to face who Canelo wants to face. And that's just what it is. WBC ain't forcing Canelo to do nothing. GGG, on the other hand, he's supposed to face, actually, they ordered GGG to face Jermall Charlo. And GGG turned that down. They ordered GGG to do so. Not the winner of Canelo GGG, GGG. Because GGG is the mandatory for Jermall Charlo. Canelo is not the mandatory for Jermall Charlo. He's the interim champion, and you have a certain amount of fights before you fight the interim champion. That's just what it is in the WBC. Christopher Smith says, and then put the GGG versus Charlo barrier after that. Team GGG were more interested in Murat, so Charlo didn't waste him and took the Fox headline opportunity. Truth be told, though, I mean, GGG ain't interested in facing no Charlo. That's the truth. Canelo don't have a problem facing Charlo, but GGG trying to make money right now. GGG trying to make money, cash out before he's done. So, you know, the gig is up. You know, all this stuff about GGG is the #1 pound for pound boxer and all that hype is gone. It was fake hype. Okay. And Canelo, who came from super welterweight. Hold on a second, folks. I think I'm being called. Let me see what's going on. A little Canelo made GGG look ordinary. Little Canelo. Sorry about that, guys. Just had to tend to family stuff. That happens to me all the time. Yeah, all the time. Hope you guys enjoying yourselves out there in the chat section, talking away a storm. I see you guys talking. I want to sing the last verse of the song. Last verse of the song. Um, what a friend we have in Jesus. Are we weak and heavy laden, cumbered with a load of care? Precious Savior, still our refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do your friends despise, forsake you? Take it to the Lord in prayer. In his arms he'll take and shield you, and you will find solace there. Oh yeah, it's so true. You know, a lot of things really can be solved simply by prayer. So simple, but yet something that we overlook. Christopher Smith says Charlo needs to fight Andrade. Okay, we got that already. We covered that. Let me see. Oof, y'all out here. Michael, hey yo, you live under a rock. GGG stopped knocking people out when he fought real middleweights. For sure, for sure, for sure. The top, the elite. And that's what happens when you face the elite. It's very rarely you get them to make a mistake and knock them out. Hop, shout out to you. Happy Thanksgiving and the Lord bless you. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Hop, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody else. Unapologetically black man. The most skilled middleweight is Andrade, but he will not be the last one standing when it's all cleared up. Yeah, because skills is not everything. I don't know if he's the most skilled. I hear a lot of people say that. I guess it's based on the amateurs and all of that stuff. Hey, man, he's southpaw. I would say that, and he got some skills. I see it. I just haven't seen all of them to say that. Unapologetically black man says, no, actually, Canelo is the most skilled, more skilled than Andrade. I think so. I even think that from what I've seen, to be honest with you, from what I've seen, I can't tell you everything, but from what I've seen, I would say that Danny Jacobs is more skilled than Demetrius Andrade. You know, he can switch from orthodox to southpaw. He can fight on the inside, he can fight on the outside. I'm not saying Andrade can't do that, but I haven't seen Andrade switch to orthodox. I've never seen him do that. He's a southpaw and he's a southpaw. You know what I mean? The other thing I like about Danny Jacobs is that he can walk to you or he can make you come to him, just like Andrade. But he can also, I mean, Andrade changes levels a lot, but so does Danny Jacobs in different ways. They do it in different ways. But the thing about Danny Jacobs, I find that is better than Demetrius Andrade, is that Danny Jacobs, you know, he can bang if he wants to. You know, he can walk you down if he wants to. You know, but he doesn't only come off of the jab. You know, Andrade feeds off of the jab. You know, the beauty of what I like about Danny Jacobs is he uses feints. He uses feints. Now, he doesn't use it enough, but he uses feints and he shifts. He can shift just like GGG can shift. I like that kind of stuff. His upper body movement's interesting as well. It's kind of a little bit different to what you expect. And I think that Andrade, he does use feints and stuff too, but Andrade is more of a checkers player to me. Everything's done quickly. Not necessarily is he sort of setting you up, you know. So he's kind of like Erislandy Lara. He can crash you. He can knock you down really early in the fight, but later on in the fight, you know, if you get used to him, like happened with the straightforward boxer who was just, he got used to Andrade. He went the distance with Andrade. Andrade's talking about his hand getting damaged. It doesn't really matter, bro. He went the distance with you. He started off really well, you know, like an amateur boxer would. You know, the first 3-4 rounds you were doing really, really well, and then the playing field got equal. You know what I mean? So for me, Andrade doesn't really show. Everybody kind of rates up Andrade very highly, but first of all, I didn't see no competition he really fought that was really something worth talking about. And then second of all, For all his skill and all this stuff that people be vaunting him about, I just don't see what they see. I just don't see it. Sorry. I mean, he got good pivot work and all of that in a certain way, in the standard sort of way, the technical standard way, but he ain't got nothing new to bring to the table like Canelo does or like Danny Jacobs does. He got nothing new to bring to the table. He textbook, in my opinion. AVE Cam or Ave Cam. I think Canelo will fight Ward before Charlo. Who? Ward? Who's Ward? Andre Ward? Andre Ward's retired, man. Come on, man. Ave Cam says Charlo ain't even made an M yet. Jacobs. You know what I mean? I don't even understand why Charlo ain't fought nobody at 160. You guys realize that, right? He ain't fought nobody at 160. 154, he ain't fought nobody at 154. Except for Austin Trout. I think he fought Austin Trout. All right, struggle with him. All right. Unapologetically black man. The X factor of the division is Jamal Charlo because of his explosive power and movement. Come on, man. Come on, guys. You got to stop with that y'all talking like y'all don't know boxing, man. Explosive power and movement means what? Against who? He got explosive power and movement against who? Let's look at Jamal Charlo's wrestling. You guys, man. I'm not saying the Charlo brothers. I like the Charlo brothers. I'm just saying he not proven. He not proven. You can't be rating somebody off of competition that's supposed to get wiped out. If you're being really real, okay? This is who Jamal Charlo recently fought at middleweight. We only talking middleweight. I can go super welterweight, but let's just talk middleweight, right? I'm not saying the boy don't got attitude and he ain't got a nasty killer instinct, but Hugo Centeno Jr. Who has Hugo Centeno Jr. fought that was a name other than Jamal Charlo? The answer, nobody. Okay? Nobody. Hugo Centeno is a good boxer. He ain't got no experience at that level. He doesn't even have championship experience. Jamal Charlo has that. Okay? Jorge Sebastian Hyland. Everybody knows Jorge Sebastian Hyland, just like Sergey, his Argentinian counterpart that faced Miguel Cotto. Jorge Sebastian Hyland had a messed up foot. He came into the fight with a messed up foot. Okay? Jamal Charlo looked great because Jorge Sebastian Hyland had a messed up foot. He wasn't getting knocked out. He just didn't have no balance. Okay? And the dude still came in, got his paycheck, and left. Okay? So let's be real. All right? Those are the only two middleweight fights this dude has had. He ain't fight nobody at middleweight. Okay, let's go to super welterweight. Let's be real. Let's be real now. We're going to talk real talk. I like Jamal Charlo. I ain't hating on him. Okay? But the dude ain't fought nobody yet. All right? At middleweight. Y'all got that? Jorge Sebastian Hyland's a highly ranked guy. GGG avoided him when he had 2 feet. Okay? Dude don't even have a balance when he's fighting Jamal Charlo. Okay? So let's just be real about that. Okay, let's see who he faced at super welterweight that was worth talking about. He faced Julian Williams, who was an unproven boxer, was undefeated, yes, but unproven, never been at that level. Okay? He stopped him. Good for him. Austin Trout. Now that's experience, right? Austin Trout. He faces Austin Trout, does not knock out Austin Trout because why? Austin Trout is an elite super welterweight. You ain't going to be knocking out no Austin Trout. Okay? It was a close fight. Willie Campfort. Who is Willie Campfort? Who is this dude? We only hear about him when he has to face because he has some beef with the dude from Texas, whatever. I don't know that dude. Okay? He not even a no name. That's who he fought to defend his IBF title. He wins his IBF title off of Cornelius Bundridge. You know, the 40-something-year-old man. Okay? He ain't fought nobody. But y'all getting all crazy about Jamal Charlo. And I get it. He's sensational. He gets knockouts. He looks good against nobody. That's why he looks good. When he reaches elite competition like Austin Trout, he ain't stopping him. He ain't even dropping him. So let's get real, man. All right? Let's get real. So nobody's afraid of Jamal Charlo. Nobody's afraid of him. He got a nice stiff jab. He work off his jab. He got good timing with his jab. Don't get it twisted. He ain't faced nobody yet. And the person he faced, Austin Trout, gave him a run for his money. And Austin Trout be stopped by Jarrett Hurd. And even his brother beat up Austin Trout better. He dropped him twice. Okay? So let's not get over the top about Jermall Charlo like, he's the greatest second coming. Yeah, he's good, but he's not proven. I'm not saying he's not good. He's good. He's very good. He's very sharp. I like him. I like how he sets up his knockouts. I like everything about him. But he ain't faced nobody except for Austin Trout. That's his best win. You understand? That's his best win. Out of his whole entire career, his best win is Austin Trout. Because Austin Trout was a world champion, and Austin Trout was an elite fighter. And we don't call Austin Trout elite, but, he's still elite is what it is. All right? So when you're talking about these guys, and Canelo afraid of Jermall Charlo, why would he be afraid of Jermall Charlo? Jermall Charlo's a pup. Canelo's a vet. Why would I be afraid of a pup? I'm 28 years old and I'm a vet of the game already. You are 20, what, 21, 22. You a pup. I would make you look stupid in that ring. Then I might drop you. That's what would happen if you put a pup in there with a vet who has the body of a youngster. You asking Jermall Charlo to get slaughtered. How come you guys can't see that? Canelo ain't afraid of Jermall Charlo. He young. Canelo faced Erislandy Lara, who taught Jermall Charlo what they know. He was their mentor. He beat Erislandy Lara. Why would he be afraid of Jermall or Jermall Charlo? You think Jermall Charlo is aching to go face Jarrett Hurd? His mentor, Erislandy Lara, got knocked down in the 20th round. Got his eyes all puffy from punches. You think Jermall Charlo can do better than Erislandy Lara? You guys not thinking. You're not thinking. You want to know who's a big threat? I even guilty of it. I said Jermall Charlo and Jermall Charlo, they're gonna be a big threat to Canelo. I used to say that too. But if I'm thinking about it, if I'm really using my brain and I'm thinking, I'm like, who did these guys face? And when they actually face somebody, how did they perform? You got to think about that. You see? This is boxing. It's how much you know, how much experience you have. And you can't know unless you haven't fought. If you haven't fought, not sparring, you had to fight in that ring. Canelo got a lot of up here. Because he fought people, man. These guys ain't fought those guys. What Canelo knows, they don't know. And raw talent and raw power and raw skill and raw explosiveness is not going to work at that level. You got to have more than that. You got to have smarts. And them boys don't got what Canelo got. If you're being honest. Tommy Temper says, what's up, guys? Shout out to you, Tommy Temper. 155 Canelo weight. yeah, it's Canelo weight. Chris Eubank almost fought GGG. Yeah, I remember when he was a contender. He was supposed to, yeah. Ava Cam says, Tommy Temper says, I wish Floyd fought GGG. I don't wish Floyd fought GGG because I already saw what would happen if Floyd fought GGG. Canelo showed that in the first fight. He beat GGG. He just outboxed him. Canelo did what Floyd, and he did it not as good as Floyd would have done it. Floyd might have even pushed GGG back. You know what I'm saying? But Floyd can find them angles. So I don't need to see Floyd versus GGG. I don't wish for that. It'd have been a waste of time. Plus, if Floyd would have made GGG a pay-per-view star after doing absolutely nothing, he earned nothing, man. Unapologetic black man. Charlo is the most dangerous fighter in the division. He will be the most avoided because of that, but that doesn't mean he's the best. He's not the most dangerous, man. You serious? He ain't the most dangerous. Who has he fought, man? Who has he fought? Who has he beaten? He looked great against ordinary fighters, but when he come to elite fighters, he's not looked great. Why do people not get that? It's competition, it's level of competition. Canelo is at the top, man. He like the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. He the pay-per-view king. You're not just gonna step to that dude, you know, with with just power and sharp jab. And Canelo's a master of getting past that jab. He slips jabs. He rolls jab. You're not going to do him nothing with a jab. You understand? He's the master of dealing with the jab. That's what you come into the table with, a good jab and power hand and a little bit of smarts. That's not enough. You got to come with something more. You got to come with a game plan. You got to come with 10 game plans, 20 game plans. I really want to see GGG versus Charlo. Yeah, that would be nice. Tommy Temper, I disagree. It's a physiological fact. Reflexes decline after 30, and hard blows to the head speed up the decline. Psh. First of all, Tommy Temper, it don't matter. Floyd was 36 when he faced Canelo. 36. So whether reflexes decline or not, GGG should have found a way to win, and he didn't know how to. He was missing. What it had to do with anything? Canelo's faster than GGG, bro. GGG depends on his timing. He's straight up and down without special effects. So Canelo was easy to beat him. Canelo was just moving around the ring. GGG was just hitting air. You'd never seen GGG hit air because he always seemed to be on point with lesser fighters. Canelo is not one of those guys. He's an elite fighter. He's elite. And clearly you guys don't know the difference between elite and ordinary. Okay? That's the problem. You know, y'all saw him face David Lemieux. David Lemieux is not elite. He's not elite. He's B level, C level, if at best. Finally won a world title. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Temper, I think Eubank beats GGG. Eubank beats nobody. Eubank is an offensive. He's an offensive guy. He's bigger than GGG, so he might beat him, or maybe not. Because GGG, as much as GGG is a punching bag, he ain't that easy to hit like that. You know what I mean? Eubank take flush shots sometimes. Unapologetic black man, which is why I said X Factor. Unapologetic black man. Lara was fighting not like himself. If Lara fought like the way he usually fought, he would easily beat Herb. Nope. Herb was cutting off the ring. Lara had to fight him that way. Tommy Temper, was Floyd faster at 30 or 36? Does it matter? Boxing's not about speed. Speed don't mean nothing if you don't know how to use it. It's about timing. What use is it that I could throw 30, 40 shots in a second, but it don't hit nothing because I don't have timing? It's timing, bro. Floyd's father was a faster boxer than him. He threw punches much quicker than Floyd. Floyd was more effective than his father any day, any time. Because it's about placing punches, knowing when to throw a punch. When another guy's throwing a punch and extending himself, you throw a punch to counter him. It's timing, not speed. Speed is important, but it ain't the only thing. Timing is more important. Placement. Tommy Temper. It took 2 years to make GGG versus Canelo. Whatever, man. I don't care. Canelo beat him, and that's what matters. Tommy Temper. Why do you think AJ is waiting for Wilder to get older so he loses some of that speed? What? AJ waiting for Wilder to get older? Dude, Wilder's in his prime, dude. He's only getting better. He's not getting... Waiting for Wilder to get older is a dumb idea. You understand? That's dumb. Dude's now approaching his prime. You only make Wilder a better and better boxer every time you wait longer. So that's stupid. Unapologetically black man. The fact is, Floyd was in his prime for an extended period of time more than most fighters. No. Floyd has skills that most fighters don't have, so that he can resort to those skills when other parts of his game have deteriorated. Floyd is fundamentally sound in what he does, and he's fundamentally sound on his defense, which allows him to do many things in that ring other fighters can't do. That's the difference. So unapologetically black man, Floyd is past his prime a long time ago. If you're talking physical prime, he'd been past his physical prime a long time ago. He was past his physical prime after the after he faced that legendary Italian fighter It's gonna come to me in a minute. Who ended up getting killed in Brazil, probably by his wife. Arturo Gatti. Floyd was at his prime against Arturo Gatti. After that, he was past his prime. Yeah. Floyd been fighting past his prime since 2004, thereabouts. Tommy Temper says, I agree unapologetic. Tommy Temper says Wilder 33 or 34. Tommy Temper says better boxer but faster. Unapologetically Black Man says Hurd cutting off the ring doesn't matter because Lara wasn't trying to use his feet. I was trying to be a tough guy for that fight. Yeah, part of it, but Hurd was gonna find him anyway. Hurd's a hunt and seek, and Lara ended up starting to use the ring, but Hurd would just cut him off, so he had to fight him anyway. Hurd was pretty good at cutting off the ring and relentless, bro. Just keep on coming at him. Tommy Temper, Floyd Mayweather Jr. and B-Up, the best preserved fighters of this generation. No, man. No. That's bullshit. That's nonsense. These guys had defense, something Gennady Golovkin actually don't have. He ain't got good defense, but everybody's praising him for good. He got offense, and you got to be worried about his offense. Just like Sergey Kovalev, you got to worry about his offense. He got, heavyish hands and thudding hands, and that's what they worked on. So you busy occupied with his offense, and that was his defense. Now he's being exposed by elite fighters, showing he got holes all up in his defense. Okay, so he looks ordinary now. When people say fighters are shot, let me tell you a shot fighter. A shot fighter was like Sergio Martinez. Okay, Sergio Martinez. He was shot because his foot was gone. All right, that's a shot fighter. Shane Mosley wasn't shot when he went in to face Floyd. Floyd was quicker, sharper, stronger, and better all around in boxing than Shane Mosley. He beat him down. Okay, Shane Mosley had no answer for Floyd. He had landed his 1-2. He had set him up, landed the 1-2. That was about it. Floyd took over the fight from that same round. The point being, it's not about preserve. It's about, because Gennady Golovkin's a well-preserved fighter, okay? And he tough, okay? You watching him, he has a chin of steel and all of that. And Gennady Golovkin ain't been in no war, okay? So Gennady Golovkin is a well-preserved fighter. So I don't want to hear that nonsense, okay? Floyd Mayweather and B-Hop, they got good defense. Okay, they're very good defensive fighters, but that's not the reason why they lasted so long in boxing. And Floyd Mayweather Jr., by the way, we say he lasts long, but he done at 41. He knew he's a smart fighter. He knows when to hang it up. But just to let you know again, Floyd Mayweather Jr. and B-Hop ain't no different to no other fighter who hasn't taken punishment. So that little excuse about Floyd and B-Hop is the exception because they black fighters. All of a sudden, a white fighter can't be like that. And Joe Okazaki was doing all kinds of things. He was a well-preserved fighter too, so don't even go there. You look at plenty of well-preserved fighters, okay, who had long careers, but they lost fights. It don't mean they out of their prime. It means they lost the fight. Roy Jones Jr. was a dude who hardly got touched, okay? So you can't say he had wear and tear when what's his name knocked him out. He had no wear and tear. Yeah, he came down in weight. He was a little bit weight drained. That's the only excuse you can give. But other than that, he had no wear and tear on him. Roy Jones Jr. None, because he wasn't taking no punishment. He just happened to have no chin, And people found out that in the fight with the tall guy. I forgot what his name is. A southpaw, nailed him, and that was it. He went to sleep, punch drunk, right? Amir Khan hadn't taken wear and tear until his first knockdown with Prescott, okay? And I mean, he got knocked down, all right? And so it goes. So when people talk about boxing and this fighter's over their prime, Amir Khan ain't past his prime, but if you tap him on the chin, he get punch drunk, right? You look at Kell Brook. He's not past his prime, but he got beat, right? Pretty bad, twice by Errol Spence Jr. and by Gennady Golovkin. It is what it is. You can't say that the fighter's past their prime. So just because a fighter getting beat up because the competition getting stiffer doesn't mean they're past their prime. It just means they don't look as good. So, and sometimes they look slow. So they say they look old, but it's not old. They slow. They got good timing, but they slow. I believe a younger Mosley should have got Floyd out of there. He was never going to get Floyd out of there. Watch out what Floyd did after he got hit with those 2 shots. Look at the defense and look what Floyd did. He closed the gap and he got close to Mosley. He started fighting Mosley on the inside. Floyd changed up his game. He was fighting on the outside. He went right to the inside. He went right to Mosley. So he smothered him for space. Mosley was trying to find room. Floyd was starting to clinch. He's doing what we call infighting. He started clinching with one arm, let Mosley try to work the other arm. When Mosley tried to throw a shot, Floyd would counter him on the inside. You got to watch. Floyd changed up his game immediately on Mosley. You look at DeMarcus Corley versus Floyd. Floyd was fighting DeMarcus Corley, banging on the inside. When he realized DeMarcus Corley was getting the better of him, he changed up the game immediately and started boxing him, using the jab, unboxing him. And that's how he started breaking down DeMarcus Corley, because Floyd, y'all don't understand, Floyd knows how to adapt like that to you. He can change it up just like that. And then all of a sudden, you're out of your element. So if you beating him in a certain area, he going to change it up. Make sure he's winning. That's what y'all ain't watch. Watch the Marcos Maidana fight. Y'all ain't watch the Marcos Maidana fight. How Floyd changed up that game against Marcos Maidana. Marcos Maidana came out, started banging. So Floyd started reading him, and he started rolling with the banging. He was taking some shots to the head, rolling with the banging, taking shots to the back of the head. He keep on rolling with the banging. Then he started counting Marcos Maidana on the inside. He started cramping Marcos Maidana for space. So Marcos Maidana missing his shots as he bobbed on the inside. As soon as he coming to the inside, he would start landing his shots. He changed range on Marcos Maidana 4 times. Then he started doing Pernod Whitaker. He started dipping a lot. When he realized that his Philly shell wasn't working on Marcos Maidana, he started dipping. Y'all don't see these things. Y'all don't watch the adaptation of what a fighter be doing in that ring. Y'all don't watch that. See? It had nothing to do with fast twitch muscles. Nobody give a dang about that. It's about, can you adapt to what's in front of you? Can you dance that guy is doing? Zab Judah, much faster than Floyd. Clearly quicker than Floyd. What did Floyd do after Zab Judah dropped him unofficially? Floyd started walking to him. He started walking to him with the guard up. He started walking to the guard because he knew, I can't handle this guy. He's too fast for me. He started going to the body. He started pressing him. He started pressing him, round after round, pressing him. Zab Judah switch it up, sometimes bang on him in the corner. He would just stay, keep his composure. He ain't moving all up the place. Nope. High guard, tuck in, take the shots, then counter. He started sneaking in them body shots, start working the body. Then he started lead rights to the head, lead rights to the head, lead rights to the head. Then he started changing it up. Left hooks to the body, left hooks to the body, lead rights to the head, left hooks to the body. All that time keeping the defense tight, tucked, and he just walking to him. Always the head outside of the line, the true line, and walking to him. Y'all don't see that. Canelo do the same thing against GGG, walking to him outside of the clear line, then the guard up tight, walking to you, guard up tight. But he walking, shifting, watching where you going, peeping through the double guard. Y'all don't watch these things, man. These guys be playing chess. It's not checkers. It's not about how fast you are. It's not about how strong you are. It's not about how quick you are. It's all about angles, baby. It's all about timing. It's all about placement. If you got an opponent that's bigger, stronger, and faster than you, you got to even that playing field. So you got to start playing mathematical games. You got to approach that guy from a different angle. You got to make sure your defense is nice and tight. Let the guy waste his energy banging out at you. You remember rope-a-dope with Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman? George Foreman would have destroyed Muhammad Ali. Ali had to burn him out. So he kept them elbows tucked down low. And Foreman would be digging in with them hooks, but he only hitting elbows. He didn't realize he hitting arms and elbows. He didn't realize he wasting his energy because it's about up here. You got to outthink you. You got to be smarter than your opponent. You're not going harder. You're going smarter. 2 boxers, same height, same weight, same age. Why is one significantly stronger than the other, Anson? Who gives a darn? It doesn't matter who's stronger. It doesn't. You guys just don't get it, man. Boxing is 90% mental, 10% physical. Guys in the gym, they look incredible. When they go under the lights on fight night, they ain't performing. What's happening? They waste out their energy. They overwork themselves. In the gym, you were supposed to be training yourself. You were supposed to be perfecting your skills. You wasn't supposed to be burning the candle, trying to do fights and stuff. It's not about how strong you are, man. It's about up here. Floyd was always outweighed by his opponents. There are very few fights where his opponent come in lighter than him. Manny Pacquiao came out heavier than Floyd, for crying out loud. Floyd was a smaller guy by weight in there. But you have to use your skills. Floyd would use his strength sometimes on an opponent, because the opponent might be a great power puncher, but he's not as strong as Floyd. And strength is a totally different thing to punching power. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You see, you know, Tommy Temper says, so meditate 90% and train the other 10%. It's not that simple. Meditate? What are you talking about, bro? Dude, boxing is chess, bro. It's about putting it together. You have to box smart. And that means you have to have things on the drop of the dime. You're not thinking about what you're doing. You're just doing what you're doing. You're looking to set up something later down the road. You guys really don't understand boxing. Meditate. What does meditate have to do with anything? You guys don't even understand what we talk about when we talk about mental, do you? You don't even understand what that means. You feel it's about somebody running and fighting in their head all the time. That's not what we mean by mental, man. You guys, man, you guys think mental is determination and will. It has nothing to do with smarts. It has everything to do with smarts. It's the smart boxer who's well prepared, and you can only be smart if you're well prepared. What do I mean by well prepared? Mentally, physically, and spiritually, man. You don't just go into the boxing ring just like that. You have to be mentally, physically, and spiritually. You got to be clean. You got to keep the temple clean. And you got to, you know, it's a lifestyle. Boxing's a lifestyle. There's not a time when you're not in boxing. When you commit to boxing, that's it. You're committed to boxing, not committed to nothing else. And a lot of boxers, they cheat. They cheat. Let's be real. They cheat. That's why a lot of them lose fights. They're not mentally strong because they're not spiritually strong. They physically strong, but they're not mentally and spiritually strong. Because they cheat. They don't commit themselves to the sport 100%. Floyd is a student of the game. Student of the game. You hear Floyd talk about the different fights he used to watch. Y'all don't understand, man. I'm talking to you. I don't know boxing because you have to box to know boxing. That's what Floyd said. All these commentators, they don't know what boxing is because they never box. You got to know boxing. Look. I'm telling you guys stuff, and it sounds like I know boxing because I can see certain things. I see what's happening in the ring and stuff. But see, a lot of you guys don't understand that boxing is more than just seeing things. It's how you get yourself into position to do certain things, man. Look. Let me show you something. This is a high guard here, right? This is me, right? Now, I'm shifting myself behind that high guard. I'm shifting behind the high guard. Now, I can do like this now. I can lift the high guard, or I can drop it. I can lift the high guard, or I can drop it. I can lift the high guard, or I can drop it. Now I'm at a different angle. I lift the high guard, I can drop it. I can lift the high guard, I can drop it. You see, it's a very complicated. Boxing has a lot of little itsy bitsy little things. Each one of these things serves a different purpose. Each one of these things serve different things. I can mess with the high guard. I can shift the high guard this way too. Some people extend the high guard, so they out here. Each one of those things has a purpose behind it. So there's all these little details and how to perfect that you have to do in boxing. And it's got to become intuitive to you. A smart boxer does things he's not comfortable doing. Andrew will talk about fighting on the inside. He wasn't comfortable. He was like, Coach, why do I have to do that? I'm really good at this. No, it's not what you're good at. You got to learn things and you put things in your tool belt and your toolbox that you don't like doing. You're not comfortable doing. You got to learn every single day. You got to pick up something new every single day. And then you start picking up things new automatically, intuitively in the ring as you're facing the opponent. You're learning them and you're using what they are doing against them while shutting down what they're doing. It's a cerebral game. It's a mental thing that's intuitive, that is translated into the body. The body conducts itself immediately. And the thing that Floyd Mayweather has that all these other boxers didn't have is the ability to adapt to every single situation presented in front of him. He was that prepared that he would adapt. That's why he always said, it don't matter who they put in front of me. It don't matter. Because the one thing I have, and I sharpen, and I continuously sharpen all the time, is my ability to adapt to what is in front of me. And you guys just never got that. And that's a mental, spiritual thing, as well as being physical. That calls for so many different styles you have incorporated and you imitated, and you developed your own style, and your own style is different and it's evolving all the time. Because you can do so many different things. But, you know, talking to you guys about boxing, I realize how much people don't understand boxing. All the time I hear people talking about attributes, speed, and strength, and power, and quickness. And those things are cool. But a smart boxer knows what he can and cannot do, and he uses what he can do to get a guy. So a guy with timing will catch a speedster. Hence, Danny Garcia knocked out Amir Khan. Danny Garcia ain't quick. He got great timing and great placement. And he shoots shots, he's not even looking at you. He just shoots like the Mexican fighters. So you even know the shot's coming because his head's down. And he have a beautiful feint. Danny Garcia got beautiful feints too. He's slow with the feint, but he catch you with the feint. Think about it. Marcos McDonough caught Adrian Broner with a slow left hook, right? It started off as if it was going to be a body punch. Then it looked like it was going to be a jab. Then it came around and hooked Adrian Broner and knocked him down at an interesting angle. Broner thought he had got past it. He bit the feint. It was slow. It's not about speed. It's about making it look natural. So the person's fooled into thinking this is what's happening. And then this happens. That's boxing. It's not about how strong you are, or how big you. Mikey Garcia can beat Errol Spence because this is boxing. This is not strongman contest or how powerful I can punch. This is boxing. That's what you guys got to understand. So Mikey Garcia know what he's doing. He already sees something with Errol Spence. He's going to try and exploit it against Errol Spence, right? And I wouldn't be surprised he goes the whole 12 rounds with Errol Spence because Errol Spence don't have that experience Mikey Garcia got, fighting bigger guys especially than himself. Errol Spence always been the bigger guy. Mikey got experience fighting bigger guys. A lot of people not factoring that in on what Mikey will do in that ring. Everybody's thinking Errol Spence going to smoke Mikey, but you're not thinking boxing. You're not thinking the rules of boxing. If I can't catch you with my jab, I can't catch you at all. So if I got the skills to slip a jab, to dip under a jab, to roll a jab, to snap back from a jab, or to go on the outside of a jab, I increase my chances of you not hitting me at all. And Errol Spence could hook off the jab, no doubt about it. And he got the longer reach, but that can be nullified. I don't need to block the jab. There are many different ways I can handle a jab. Even if you know a little bit of martial arts, you know if a guy throws a punch, you know how to handle that. You can take that punch and throw it back on that person. Make them punch themselves. Boxing is different. As much as Mikey Garcia is smaller, if he keeps his composure, you got to keep your composure now. Okay, he keeps his composure. All right, he got his quickness. He gonna be the smaller guy. He gonna be the quicker guy, but he makes it look natural. He got to move naturally. He can easily offset a lot of things Errol Spence wanted to do, and nullify what Errol Spence might want to try to do to him. Easy, you see. But you have to be able to. Errol Spence want to go to the body. That's what he want to do. If he can't go to the body, what are you gonna do now? If you take away his body game, what is Errol Spence gonna do? What's he gonna do? Chase you down all the time? Try to cut off the ring? Can't get a body shot in on Mikey Garcia. What are you gonna do now? Remember, that's what Errol Spence thrives over: body punching to break you down. What happens if he can't do that? That's what Mikey got to take away from him and then use it back against him. Mikey got to study, watch out how Errol Spence is moving in there and counter that. It's all a dance. You see, that's what I saw already. That's why I said, hey, Mikey got a chance to come out of that fight not knocked out. And I could clearly see that. I don't see, not necessarily he winning the fight, but definitely going the distance with Errol Spence. That's a possibility. You're either on the outside or on the inside of Errol Spence. And you got to be careful when you're on the inside that you angle your body a certain way. And once he tried to pivot, you will pivot with him because you angled yourself a certain way. So he can never hit you. And then you get positioned to try and hit him because he's a southpaw. Right? There's a simple rule in southpaw boxing. I keep my foot on the outside of you, then I got free range to you, and I can pivot off of that. Then you got free range to me. So that's one of the key technical rules. And Danny and Mikey is a technocrat. So he done already studied that and be like, man, I'll just have to stay on the outside foot of this southpaw. When he come jabbing down the lane, he gonna try and hook off the jab. I gotta be ready for a hook off the jab. And then all I gotta do is make sure I stay on the outside of his foot. So I gotta practice that. Then I gotta make sure I could take power of a dude, which means I gotta go and fight somebody who's a super welterweight and middleweights to make sure I got my resistance to his power shots. Since he trying to break me down, he gonna have to land a couple of them, which means if I have enough resistance to that, I could take his shots. We can definitely do a fight. And that's what you have to understand. Okay. Tommy Temperature, Peekaboo. Pooh Beast is drunk. Does Stephen A. Smith know more boxing than you? Look, man, Stephen A. Smith. Oh, man. Stephen A. Smith is really into sports. He's not really into boxing. He likes boxing, but he's not really into it. Not like us. You know how we look at all these other fights, you know, Derevchenko. Stephen A. Smith was like, Derevchenko, did Danny Jacobs struggle against Derevchenko? And I'm like, dude, don't you know who Derevchenko is? You know, and he was a sparring partner at that, you know. And so when Stephen A. Smith says something, you just kind of like, you know, whatever, bro, dude. You know, I heard Stephen A. Smith say Floyd Mayweather looked old against, what's the guy's name? The MMA fighter, you know. Stephen A. Smith got his opinions of things I don't agree with, and sometimes it sounds very ignorant of boxing, to be honest with you. But he's on a platform. People listen to him, so it's what it is. Boxing is different to what people think it is. Until you actually go in there, sit down, watch, or go and box somebody, it really is a totally different picture. I remember standing up with a guy, southpaw dude, tall guy, and he was just hitting me in my face. We were just play boxing. And he was just hitting me in my face. And I was trying to slip his punch, but I was on an off angle. So even though I slipped, he still keep on hitting me in my face. It's very tough when somebody got a hand in your face to get around them. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff in boxing people just don't get. It's like blind you, especially a taller guy throwing that jab. You have to know exactly what angle you want to get so you can actually see him when you slip the jab or you roll it or whatever. So it's not easy. So how to slip a jab, how to roll a jab. You know, the footwork that's involved in doing all that. You have to be able to do that and intuitively and smoothly and naturally. And this is a lot of stuff going on in boxing that a lot of people just don't understand. I appreciate boxing because it's very difficult. I've done martial arts. And what I mean by very difficult for a person like myself is a lot going on in it. There's a lot going on in boxing. And you have to learn how to stand and how to move and then how to use your hands. Footwork is everything in boxing. I mean, you know, it's a lot. There's a lot going on in the sport of boxing. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, so in the middleweight division, man, this is what's going on. Everybody talking about Jabal Charlo. I got to say, though, it's a packed, talented division. I'm really enjoying it. And that's one of the fantastic divisions out there. I see you guys been talking a lot. And, you know, I appreciate all of you guys and your contribution. Tommy Temper, Fubi Sistrunk, Unapologetically Black Man. Man, you guys have just been really great. Ave Kame, you know, Ave Cam or Avacam or Ave Cam. Is it Ave Cam? Hop, nice to see you, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Christopher Smith, Michael A. Man, it's been dope. Big Brother in Life, You know, all of you guys have been really dope. Just talking with you guys about boxing. It's been a lot of fun talking to you guys with boxing, and it's been great. You know, just seeing so many of you guys come through and participate. But I want to show you guys a couple things about the different divisions again. Um, when we talking about boxing, that I think is worth mentioning here. You know, because you know everybody always thinks about the biggest and the strongest. It's not about the biggest and the strong. Of course, at some point, size does play a factor, but you know it's not about the biggest and the strongest. Okay, so this is what makes, to me, boxing interesting. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. That Luis Ortiz may face Dillian White, or Dillian White may face, you know, the matchups. You know, that's what makes it interesting. Jarrell Miller may face Dillian White. Jarrell Miller, you know, Jarrell Miller is a boxer I'm really keeping my eyes on. He hasn't really faced anybody of note, but I'm keeping my eyes on him nonetheless. You got Anthony Joshua, of course, who's the man of the division, WBA, IBF, and WBO champion. Tony Parker still up in there. You got Derek Chisora. You got Alexander Povetkin. You know, you got some names up in here. You got Tyson Fury, you know, who's going to be facing Deontay Wilder. So we got some exciting things. Bryant Jennings, I haven't heard too much about him, but I know he had a fight recently or is having one. So you got all those fighters up in there. The cruiserweight's not really of interest to me because I just really am not interested in it. But Usyk is the dude that was in that division. He's going to be moving, I think, to somewhere else. You got Glowacki. You got Huck up in there. You know, you got a couple of guys. But it's not the most enticing division, in my opinion. It's probably one of the weaker divisions. Light heavyweight is really a fantastic division. And you got that, you know, the guys who we were talking about coming up, they're finally at the top. Elito Alvarez, Arthur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol. I didn't know about him. Badou Jack, Marcus Brown. You know, those are the guys that are standard stuck. You also got other guys, of course, Adonis Stevenson. But you also got other guys like Sullivan Pereira. You still got, what's his name? Sergey Kovalev. You know, Joe Smith Jr. All those guys are up in there that are, you know, I think serious people that you should think about. Anthony Yard. Like Anthony Yard, he's a British dude. He's moving up the rankings. So, you know, he was making some noise. We'll see what happens. Jean Pascal still there, veteran, you know, two-time world champion. And the super middleweight division, it's not the most heated division in the world, but we still got some good names up in there like Anthony Durrell, Andre Durrell. We got Chris Eubank Jr., George Groves, James DeGale, Caleb Truax, David Benavidez, Callum Smith, Rocky Fielding, Gilberto Ramirez. I don't know about who's got Tegui. I don't know who that dude is. I haven't been following him at all. That division is good. It's not stacked, but it's good. Middleweight division is where it's popping. We got Canelo. We got Jamal Charlo. We got Daniel Jacobs, Demetrius Andrade. We got David Lemieux. Rob Brandt. Now I got a title. I don't know who he is. Gennady Golovkin. Right? Derevchenko. Luis Arias is in that. Luis Arias is not really anybody big, but so that's basically it. We got Mark Murray, Willie Monroe Jr. All right, those are the guys in the division. It's a pretty stacked division. I gotta say that. When it comes to super welterweight, we got Jarrett Hurd, who really pretty much dominates everything. Jaime Munguia, he's not ready. Jamal Charlo may face Jarrett Hurd. That'd be good. Cal Brooks up in there. Arslan Lara. Misha Soro, all of these are good fighters. Julian Williams, Austin Trout, those are the better names. I don't really consider Tony Harrison or Erickson Lubin as top tier. I think they're used goods. Liam Williams is also in that division. I think he got beat recently. Then in the welterweight division, this is the most stacked division. Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Jesse Vargas, Danny Garcia, Andre Berto, Amir Khan. You got to put Jeff Horn up in there, even though he's, you know. You also got what is his name? I don't see him. He used to be a top guy, but he's not there anymore. And you got Adrian Broner, right? And the super lightweight division, there's not much going on in the super lightweight. That's probably the most depleted division of them all. But then when you look at the lightweight division, we got Mikey Garcia, which is probably not there anymore. Luke Campbell, Vasily Lomachenko, You got Anthony Corolla, Jose Pedraza, um, Raimundo Beltran. I'm looking for him. I'm not seeing him. Devin Haney, Robert Easter Jr., Francis Bartholomew, um, Teo, Teofimo Lopez. He's moving up the ranks, so watch out for him. There's another guy, but I can't find him. Well, he was there. He was a long range. He was a long range champion. I can't remember. He just was beaten by Jorge Linares. That's the guy. Yeah. So those are the people that I'm talking about right there. Now in the super featherweight division, we got of course Gervonta Davis. He's a really great, explosive. Miguel Berchelt, Tevin Farmer. Those are the better names there. You also got Abner Morris, Jesus Andres Coella, even though he got beat up by Tank. You also got Lee Selby, was a former world champion. Francisco Vargas. Yeah, that's basically it. I think that's a division. And featherweight division, we got Leo Santa Cruz, Gary Russell Jr., Oscar Valdez, Carl Frampton. I think it's better. Jesse Magdaleno. Um, who else we got? Tomoki Kamita, Kid Gallahan, and Jojo Diaz. Right. That's that dude. Miguel Mariaga also is up in there. So I think that's most of the names right there in that division. I don't want to talk about super bantamweight, but I know that Guillermo Rigondeaux is up in the super bantamweight division. I think, you know. So yeah, that's basically it though. Just wanted to talk some boxing with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Share this video with some other people. I'm gonna sing a song for my outro, and I'm out of here. Okay. I hope you guys have a peaceful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Give thanks to the Lord. You know, there's a song that says, "In everything, give thanks. In everything, give thanks, yeah. Because all things work out for your good. Even though sometimes misunderstood. In everything, give thanks. In everything, give thanks, yes. For everything works out for your good. Yes, it does. Oh. This song I love. It goes, Father, lead us day by day, ever in thine own sweet way. Teach us to be pure and true. Show us what we ought to do. When in danger, make us brave. Make us know that you can save. Keep us safe by your dear side. Let us in your love abide. When we are tempted to do wrong, make us stand fast, wise and strong. And when all alone we stand, shield us with your mighty hand. When all work seems hard and dry, may we press on charity, help us patiently to bear pain and hardship, toil and care. May we do the good we know and be thy loving child below. Then at last go home to thee, ever more thy child to be. Peace. Bless to you guys. Have a great day.